Welcome to another episode of BattleBots at Home, the ultimate place for fan-made robotic destruction. Looking at this episode's fight card, you'll notice a nice mix of winless bots wanting a second chance, as well as undefeated bots hoping to go 2-0. Duck and Rusty are two of the most lovable bots we've got, and they'll be doing everything they can to claim victory over each other. Legendary flipper Bronco will be hoping to bounce back from its devastating first-round loss in its fight against the rookie control bot Paradox. And in our main event, it's a battle of big, bad blue bots as Season 1 champion Bite Force goes up against Season 2 runner-up Pump Up to determine which machine will get their second win of the season. But first, we have two 0-2 bots desperate for a win as the drum spinner of Minotaur goes up against the rubber band powered flipper named Tension. Let's get into that fight right now. Three, two, one. Let the bot battle begin. The Brazilian bull of Minotaur hoping to get a win. Tension gets underneath them and they get a good flip. Minotaur upside down. They're invertible, but that drum is spinning downwards. However, it still packs a punch. Tension, on the other hand, has fired their one shot. They don't really have a weapon anymore. So already major stuff has happened in this fight. Tension gets pushed back into the wall. Minotaur trying to use that drum, like I said before, spinning downwards, but it's still a dangerous weapon. Tension just absorbing the hits so far, but they push into Minotaur, and they push them to the polarizer, takes their own medicine, pushing back onto the side of Minotaur. Minotaur pushed against the wall, and Minotaur's on their back, and this could be it. This is exactly how they lost their first fight against Caution. They're stuck on their back, they're vibrating with the drum, the wheels are spinning, but there's no one home. The bot cannot move. That's not controlled movement. And Tension is going to get the win. Minotaur will unfortunately be falling to 0-2. As we've talked about before, Tension has to be careful with its shots since it can only fire that flipper once. And this was a good flip. They flipped over Minotaur immediately. Minotaur upside down. They lost their top handle. Their drum wasn't as effective. And Tension took full advantage, just pushing them into the sidewall. Minotaur could not get away from that, and just like that, it was all over. Tension advances the 1-1. In our next fight, we have another pair of winless bots, both of which lost their first fights in less than 30 seconds and need redemption. It's the vertical spinner of Glass, taking on the articulated saw of Never Saw Coming. Let's get into this fight right away. Three, two, one. Let the bot battle begin. This is going to be a fun fight. And Glass proves me right. They get a good shot. Never Saw It Coming. Never Saw It Coming. Quickly retaliates. Gets a good flip. But Glass fighting back. And already there's a good back and forth matchup as these two bots collide. Both desperate for a win. Oh, Glass has done damage to Never Saw It Coming. You see there. Oh, huge shot there. The front portion of Never Saw It Coming is loose. And Never Saw It Coming just flipped itself over. I don't really know how that happened, but Glass taking advantage. Never Saw It Coming can self-right with that lifter, though, but they seem to be in a lot of pain right now. When the bots go weapon to weapon, it's Glass who wins. They have the much bigger weapon. Never Saw It Coming does have the lifter to make up for that. They push him to the polarizer, and you see the close-up as they just dig right in there. But Glass takes off a massive piece of Never Saw It Coming. Never Saw It Coming is not doing so hot right now, but they could turn this around potentially. Glass, oh, another huge hit there. They're so much bigger, especially with at least a third of Never Saw It Coming gone. Never Saw It Coming just getting thrown across the box into the screws. Just no mercy from Glass. Glass hitting them again and again and again. Oh, there goes a wheel. An entire wheel ripped off of Never Saw It Coming. Oh, and another hit. Oh, my goodness. Absolute brutality from Glass. More pieces come off, Never Saw It Coming, and their corpse is stuck in the screws. And I think it's safe to say this bot is down for the count. Glass really showing how sharp they can be. Don't play with broken glass or you'll get broken. Never Saw It Coming. Better luck in the next fight, I guess. Just look at the damage. Courtesy of Glass. Glass really showing just how dangerous that massive vertical spinner can be. Never saw coming, got a few good lifts. They got one good lift here, but Glass had a self-right mechanism, and once they got back on their wheels, they showed Never saw coming what for. Speaking of wheels, they eventually managed to rip off one of their entire wheels, just in absolute insanity. If that wasn't bad enough, they then just slammed them right into the screws, took off the back part, they were stuck, and Glass showing what they can do. Good job to Glass. I hope you love robots with cute faces, because in our next fight, we have the scrap metal hero Rusty, who's 0-1 after a loss to Grappler, going up against the most dangerous bird in the world, Duck, who's 1-0 after an easy win against Quickshot. Both of these bots have such a lovable personality, but now it's time to see just how deadly they can really be. Let's get into that fight right now. Three, two, one. Let the bot battle begin. Rusty versus Duck. Honestly, I wish they could both win. However, one of these two very fun-loving bots is going to take an L today. Duck can't afford to do so. They're actually 1-0. Rusty, on the other hand, needs this win to avoid going 0-2, which they just might as Duck pushes them into the wall. A piece of Rusty comes off, so already ahead on points in terms of damage. Oh, Duck gets another good lift there, but Rusty gets off of them, and now bringing down that hammer, that spiked axe. Again and again, the top of Duck is very flat, very burnable, but Duck gets underneath Rusty and pushes them into that hammer as they get hit by the pulverizer. Oh, it would seem that the axe of Rusty is stuck on the pulverizer. Rusty trying to run away, but they're literally stuck. Could this be it? I've never seen something like this. Never mind. Rusty gets out of there. That was a close one. But Duck really controlling the match so far. Again, it all comes down to ground game. That beak of Duck is low to the ground, but Rusty has no wedge of any kind. And so Duck can just get underneath them every time to go head to head. But Rusty still has what should be the most damaging weapon with that axe. The lifter of Duck just meant more for controlling. However, Rusty tried to take advantage. Rusty has to get to the sides, but Duck just, taking several shots right to the face, courtesy of Rusty. Rusty trying to make up for the points they've lost. You see the two bots hitting each other. It's so cute. These two little guys doing everything they can to kill each other right near our camera, but Rusty brings down the axe on top of Duck yet again. I think we're about halfway through this fight, and it could be anyone's game, although Duck is definitely in the lead so far. Rusty turns around, just trying to get their bearings straight. You can see those tracks, those really good tracks are good for traction. They have a lot of grip with the floor. Duck, on the other hand, is four-wheel drive, but they may not need it, as Rusty is just driving himself into the screws. I'm not really sure what that is. Come on, the guys hit each other. Let's do this thing. Rusty just points their back at Duck. Bad mistake, as Duck now slams them into the wall. Duck can be a really good driven bot. Rusty is Rusty, we like it for that. But Duck ends underneath Rusty yet again and just trying to control it as much as they possibly can. Rusty staring down Duck. They're not afraid here. Made a few good blows from that hammer, could end it all. As Duck gets around to Rusty once again. Oh, but it would seem that Duck has flipped itself over and they may be having issues right now. They're not, they are moving now, but Duck looks a little worse for wear. I don't know if the signal is worse now that they're upside down. They can still move though. But Rusty about to take advantage, pushing them into the pulverizer. They get pounded right now. Rusty really showing them that they can battle back here. Duck just spinning in circles. The time is ticking down, and the fight is over. Duck saved by the bell. I gotta say, I was worried about Duck at the end there. They weren't driving as well, and if the fight went on longer, who knows what could have happened. However, it's going to the judges, and I gotta say, Duck probably has this. Rusty did get some nice hits with that hammer, but Duck was usually able to be more controlled and aggressive, especially with that lifter. And despite his best efforts, Rusty was on the losing end of most exchanges. And despite being a very tough and durable bot, I don't think it's going to be enough to win this decision. This is going to the judges. It's time to find out who will get this win. And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Duck. The last time we saw Hypnotizer, they used their massive disc to tear tension apart, and they're ready to earn a second win. However, to do that, they'll have to get through Overlord, a unique robot with both a vertical spinner and a lifter, who's also coming off of an impressive win. Which of these two bots will take the victory? Let's find out now. Three, two, one. Let the bot battle begin. Hypnotizer spins Overlord around immediately. Overlord taking a massive shot from that giant disc. That disc is dangerous. Overlord tries to get a good lift in. They're definitely outmatched in terms of weapon power, but Overlord has both a lifter and a vertical spinner to have versatility. And if they flip over Hypnotizer, it could be over, but they're the ones who get flipped onto their side. And here comes the pain as Overlord isn't doing so good right now. Pieces go flying everywhere, and Overlord has been split in like several different pieces. Overlord on its back over there, both its lifter and spinner ripped off in one hit, and Overlord appears to be down for the count. I'll never be getting up from that, and just like that, Hypnotizer getting an amazing win and just destroying their opponent. You spin me right round, like a record goes Overlord. Hypnotizer showing them why they're so dangerous. That massive disc takes up so much area, hits with so much force. You don't know what hits you until it's too late. Overlord just smacked about before they could ever utilize their weaponry. Overlord just absolutely torn to pieces in complete brutal fashion. They go 1-1. Hypnotizer is now 2-0 and looking like a real threat going into the tournament. Now, before we get into our next fight, it only makes sense to take a look at our very dangerous matchup between two of the best bots we've got here. It's Bite Force taking on Pump Up. Here's a sneak peek right now. Next up, we have the unique control bot, Paradox, who's coming off of a dominant win against Magnitude. Well, they just humiliated the veteran to advance to 1-0. Their opponent is Bronco, who's surprisingly at 0-1 after a main event loss to Inverse. Will Bronco be able to avoid going 0-2, or will this special control bot take down another all-star? Time to find out now. Three, two, one. Let the bot battle begin. Flipper versus control bot. Who will win this match? Bronco gets the first shot. Nothing too dangerous there. They get underneath Paradox once again. And they get another good flip. Paradox needs to get underneath them right away and control them. But Bronco does not like being controlled. As they try to get another good flip onto Paradox, a piece comes off. Paradox thrown through the sky once again near the sidewall. This is a bad place to be, especially if you're against an out of the arena king known as Bronco. Bronco gets a good flip there. Paradox stays in the arena. Paradox trying their best. Oh, well, forget what I just said a few seconds ago. They're not in the arena. They're out of the arena, courtesy of Bronco, who wins this fight. Nothing else to say except this is classic Bronco. Paradox is a good bot, but they ran into a real powerhouse in the form of Bronco. Bronco, that good flipper, just got underneath them and then just tossed them however they please. And after the first flip, Paradox likely wasn't able to recover as they were disoriented. And eventually Bronco does what it does best and just tossed them right out of the ring. In our next fight, we have the oversized bar spinner of Terrific going up against the oversized hammer of Slick. Terrific is currently 0-1 after getting smacked by Jerry, but they rebuilt themselves to see if they can take down Slick, who's 1-0 after a destructive first fight against Esper. With all that out of the way, let's get into the fight. Three, 2, 1. Let the bot battle begin. Here we go. Terrific spins up the speed, and they've lost their bar once again immediately. They've got to fix that. Slick already at an advantage in less than a few seconds. So Terrific is doing terribly because they have no weapon bar. And now there's a flat target for Slick to practice on. Slick really showing them what for, as Terrific is not doing so hot. But Slick gets another good hit and just slams there. The camera can't even see Terrific because it's too low to the wall because they don't have their bar, and getting double teamed by the hammer to make matters worse. All a good slam there. And I think that's going to be it for Terrific. Terrific, you put on a terrific show, but in the end, you just weren't good enough to contend with the powerful hammer of Slick. I think it goes without saying that when your weapon breaks on the first hit, chances are the fight is not going to go well for you. Slick just took that first hit, the entire bar assembly of Terrific came off, and then Slick just went to town with their hammer and the pulverizer. Without any way of defending themselves, Terrific was just doomed from the start. Slick showing what they can do with that powerful hammer. In our second to last fight, we have the brightly colored flipper of Esper going up against Emergency. Both bots are 0-1 and looking for redemption. Who will get it? Let's find out now. Three, 2, 1. Let the bot battle begin, and already good flip from Esper, and the entire lifter of Emergency has come off for like the 17th time already. All between it comes off, the entire flipper of Esper came off, and in less than 10 seconds, both bots are without a weapon. Both of them are just wedges, but in that regard, Emergency should be fine. They have more drive power, they're wider, and they just slam into Esper. Esper really trying their best though, trying to be a good wedge fight. And yeah, neither bot has a primary weapon, and I'm not sure how this fight is going to end. Esper's still just getting hit by the pulverizer. They do not like that. And Emergency just giving them several more hits as Esper slams into the wall, hit by the pulverizer, and Emergency just doing everything they can to just take down Esper as fast as possible. And that's the difference here. Emergency has fought many times about its weapon. Its lifter breaks all the time. They know what they're doing, but Esper, they need that flipper to actually be competitive, and without it, Emergency is just taking them all over the place. Esper slammed to the wall once again, and again, Emergency showing no mercy. They are so fast, so powerful, so dangerous, especially in comparison to Esper, who's just trying their best to get on equal footing. But Esper, oh, good hit there. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe Esper has a chance, and never mind. Esper on its face, and obviously about that flipper, which actually has its face. Without that flipper, Esper cannot self-right. And so, just like that, the fight is over. Emergency will be going to 1-1, while Esper, unfortunately, goes down to 0-2. Well, this was a fun fight. Esper got some good flips at the beginning, especially the one that tore off Emergency's entire lifter. Not that it would end up mattering, as unfortunately Esper's own weapon just flew off immediately after that. And needless to say, without that weapon, Emergency was always going to have an advantage, especially in terms of drive power. Emergency showing what they can do. And now I am happy to say we've reached our long-awaited main event. It's Bite Force squaring off against Pump Up. Now, how could we ever forget our Season 1 champion, Bite Force, easily one of the best bots in the competition. That powerful vertical spinner combined with its low ground clearance has allowed it to win fight after fight. and they'll be hoping to do exactly that to Pump Up. But of course, Pump Up is no pushover either. In fact, they're the ones who push other bots over. Last season, this 4-bar lifter made it all the way to the finals to get second place. However, if they want to go one step further and become a champion, they'll have to beat a champion. And now it's time for these two powerhouses to throw down. Who will claim glory? Only one way to find out. Three, 2, 1. Let the main event begin. This is sure to be a good fight. The bots squaring up. Pump Up gets underneath. Bite Force gets the first hit as they flip over Bite Force. Bite Force loses their top panel. That's not good. Bite Force is invertible, but they get pushed onto the wall and pushed out of the arena. And oh my goodness, Pump Up has done it again. They've done it again. They've thrown another legendary bot out of the arena in that same corner in just so little time. Pump Up, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. You see the replay, which is just the whole fight. Pump Up gets underneath Bite Force immediately, flips them over, disorients them, and Bite Force did not have an answer to being just kicked out of the arena. The same thing happened. The Revolutionists, Pump Up just not afraid of these dangerous spinners, just pushes them right out of the arena in that corner. Shows why they're dangerous. Pump Up going 2-0, and they are a threat to winning the giant disc, clearly. Good job. And just like that, we've reached the end of another fantastic episode of Robot Fighting. Just to recap, Minotaur got upended by Tension, Glass completely destroyed Never Saw It Coming, Duck defeated Rusty, Overlord took a loss to Hypnotizer, Bronco launched Paradox out of the arena, Terrific had a terrible time against Slick, Emergency took Esper to the emergency room, and in our main event, Pump Up got an incredible victory over Bite Force. As always, we hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.